Today, I would like to present the company analysis of a well-known company called Amritanjan Healthcare. This brand is well known. The company may not be that well known. So let me take you through the company history. This company was founded in the year 1893 by freedom fighter Sri Nageshwar Rao Pantulu. The flagship Amritanjan Yellow Bomb was an instant hit, and it captured the masses in South India. The 1970s were the age of a few products like Maha Inhaler, Cold Rub, and Dermal Ointment. The 1980s and 90s saw the introduction of a few more products like Strong Balm, Swas Mint, and Dragon Liquid Balm. The 2000 to 2010 decade had lot of products like Diacure capsules for diabetes, Dr. Sugam granules, and Cutis olive oil and orange guard, where Amrutanjan acted as an imported reseller. So continuing 2010 onwards, the company has ventured into newer products like muscular pain spray, aromatic balm, the ORS and the beverages, the roll-on format balms, Comfy, which is the women hygiene brand, and ready-to-eat products. The current MD, Shambur Prasad, took over the company as a MD in the year 2006 at a young age of 30. So my observation is that there have been many products that have been discontinued or sold by this company. The current product portfolio is relatively less in number and much simpler. So diversification, the company also ventured into unrelated segments. For instance, in 2001, Amrutanjan Infotech was launched in the wake of the dot-com boom bust era. Then there was also a chemical division which is currently discontinued. So more recently, the ready-to-eat segment has been discontinued. So these ventures had been lacking focus mostly, and most of these have been exited. Currently the chemical division has been discontinued and it is planned to be sold, but more details are not available at this stage. So, in spite of these mistakes, the company has been able to sustain, and it has been a debt-free company, and it has been able to grow steadily. The main bread and butter of this business is pain balms and related products. Probably around 3 to 4 products comprise for the success of the company. So moving on, what is Amritanjan today? So it has a market cap of about 1400 crores, 1400, 1500 crores. So currently I'm taking the price as about 488. So it's around this price today as well. Last 12 months sales have been around 261 crores. Last 12 months profit have been around 25 crores. So relatively a simple product portfolio of pain management and a few other products currently. Some products such as Sanitizer and Amrutanjan cough syrup have been relaunched. So in the wake of the COVID-19, these two products have been relaunched. So recent investor presentation had some data, so which was important and interesting as well. So I mean, there has been a decent growth in sales. Like they lost some sales in March due to COVID, but apart from that, there has been a lackluster growth in sales over the years. But there have been some impact on the bottom line as well, mainly due to the increase of raw materials. So but as you can see, there has been a decent growth. I mean, it's not great, but yeah, it is not very bad either. So moving on, the beverages segment has seen a fall in growth. Uh, just if you see the beverage segment, there has been a fall in revenue of about 3 crores. But on the other hand, the Electro Plus, which has been on the focus of the company, which is the ORS brand, that hasn't seen much degrowth. So it has been mostly flattish. And the return on capital employed and operating margin have seen some marginal fall. So coming to the financials of the company, the growth rates have been not that great. The company has grown its revenue from about 90 crores to around 260 270 crores now. So roughly it has trebled in a decade, and profits have rose from about 10 crores to 25 crores in 10 years, which is not that impressive. But the company is having a valuation price to earnings multiple of 57, which looks a bit of overvaluation. So the one thing could be that the market is pricing above average growth rate in the coming years, and also the company has some cash reserve which helps the company get a better valuation compared to its other peers. And there is also a non-core asset which the market seems to have priced in. So this is my view. So moving on, seeing the chart of Amrutanjan, you can see that the price has stock price. The first chart is the stock price actually. The second chart is the price to earnings variation over the years. So if you see the first chart, the stock caught interest mainly after 2014. So somewhere mid 2014, it caught the interest of investors, where many small caps rallied. So not only Amrutanjan, so many small caps got re-rated, and since then the stock price has steadily climbed. I think roughly it has climbed about five times in last 5 years. So which is not bad actually, considering the other like considering the other small caps or mid caps. So the bottom chart is that of the price to earnings ratio. So one can see that it has always commanded a PE ratio of about above 30 since last 5 6 years, and currently the PE is around 57. So we can't give much importance to the price to earnings multiple at this stage. So as long as the company continues to deliver and improve its product portfolios and proves, so there is a good amount of chance that the price to earnings multiple might continue in the same range of about 40 to 50 or 40 to 60. So, coming to the segments of the company, broadly there are two segments. In fact, the company reports three segments, but broadly the segments are OTC and beverages. OTC products include products in the pain management, congestion management, and hygiene, women hygiene. And the beverages segment consists of the fruit juices and the ORS, which is the Electroplus. Other segment is the single pain management center, which is in Chennai. So it doesn't get much revenue. Around 1 to 2 crores is the revenue of the pain management center. For some reason, the company has not ventured into expanding this concept. So we need to see whether the company has any plans to open up more pain management centers. The chemical division has been discontinued, and it is planned to be sold. So moving on, we can see that the majority of the revenues come under the OTC products, and the beverage segment has been loss making. Though the company claims that the losses have reduced over the years, and there is a focus of the company on the beverages. The company is not losing focus of the beverage segment, but the majority of the revenues are from the OTC products. And out of the OTC revenues, it has been told that around 10 to 15% of the OTC revenues are coming from the roll-on formats. So the top shareholders of the company, apart from the promoters, include a few funds like Sundaram Funds, DSP Funds, and the Matthews Asia Small Companies Fund. Then a couple of individual investors, Raj Shekhar Iyer and Deepak Shah, hold some stake in the company. The OTC products of the company include the pain balms, which have many variants like yellow, white, straw. I mean, there are many variants of these pain balms, and I have seen personally the pain balms actually. It's comparatively, Amrutanjan has adopted similar practices like other FMCG firms. Like the earlier the bottle used to be big, and now it comes in plastic bottles. So I mean, it looks big, but I mean, they have been reducing the quantity of the balm they put in the bottle. Primarily, this is due to the input cost pressure. The price of the menthol oil has been increasing over the years, and of late it has kind of come off from the highs, but it has seen a steady increase in the prices. So the company is indirectly pushing the cost to the customers in different ways. Then the roll-on formats, which have both types of roll-on. One roll-on is for the headache, and the other bigger roll-on format is for the backache, which has seen some decent success in the recent times. And even the muscle spray, which is similar to the Move or Volini, also has seen some decent traction in the markets of late. The decongestion products, I have not seen them personally, but it is also a part of the OTC products. Then the company also has sanitary napkin division, which is sold under the name of Comfy. Then the corn caps and dermal ointments are also there. So recent observation is the roll-on formats and the Comfy have been quite successful in last few years. Coming to the beverages segment of the Amrutanjan company, when Fruitnik was acquired from a small South Indian company called Shiva Beverages, the brand had a turnover of 14 crores. As of March 2018, the beverage division has revenues of 26 crores, and recently it is around 20. If we saw the older slide, so the beverage segment revenue in FY20 has been around 20 crores, so which is not great actually. In 8 years, they have been able to grow the revenue only by not even by 100%. So they had big plans of this beverage division, but it is not going well. And but there is one focus of the company on the Fruitnik Electro Plus, which is a rehydration drink of the company. So there have been some significant ad spends on this particular product. Coming to the fine chemical division, there is nothing much which is available. So during 11-13, management had plans to revive this division, but they even had plans of spinning off this company. But then it was bleeding cash and it was not much near success, so they decided to discontinue or sell this division. Coming to competition, the Amrutanjan company has been seeing formidable competition in every segments. If you come to balms, there is Imami, which has both Zandu and Menthol Plus, and there is the foreign brand called Tiger Balm, which has seen an entry into the Indian markets in the last decade. Then, if you come to the pain management products, there is Move, Volini, Iodex. Then, if you come to the congestion management, there is Wix. So basically, all segments have formidable competition. And if you come to sanitary napkin, which has been very difficult for any new company to pick up, so there is PNG Health and Hygiene and Johnson and Johnson. So there is a need to consistently spend on advertising as competitors or companies with deep pockets and spend a great deal on ads. So coming to the management quality, the current management has tried entering into various new products. When they found it not to be worth, it's not worth pursuing a particular product, they have exited. So that gives some amount of confidence that they don't intend to continue spending and investing time and money on the unsuccessful products, which seem doesn't don't seem to have market interest. But there have been certain products where they have found success, like Comfy and Roll On Back Pain. So we can't say that the management should not experiment and launch new products. So when they launch a few products, very few products are bound to be very successful. So most of the products will end up as failures. So failed or aborted products include like ready to eat products, then Diacure and Sugam capsules. So moving on, the strengths of the company include the strong balance sheet and brand. In South India, the distribution network is also very strong due to the age of the company. It's more than 125 years old. Management is conservative but not laid back. There have been always some new products in the pipeline. So, for instance, in the wake of the COVID crisis, they have relaunched the hand sanitizers and uh, the cough syrup. Though hand sanitizer is largely now a commoditized product, but they were able to relaunch it during that time. Management is flexible to discontinue loss-making or unviable ventures instead of allowing these to bleed cash. So weaknesses of the company, yeah, there is, as I told earlier, there is a formidable competition in every segment. There is a concentration of revenue towards southern states, and off late they have been able to bring in some revenues from the West Bengal and Orissa and those uh, the eastern states. And there is a need to maintain advertising spends due to the strong competition. There have been, I mean, there are more than 100 plus bombs available in the country, including every other Ayurvedic center. So there is limited or no stickiness of bombs. So it's not a research done by me, but that is the opinion. So the bomb market is largely fragmented, which accounts for a significant portion of the revenue of the company. So basic scuttlebutt was done actually in the last few months. The sample size is limited to Bangalore and a few villages, a couple of towns and villages near Bangalore or Karnataka. So most pharmaceutical companies, most pharma shops stock pain balm, back pain roll-on and spray, and also the decorn caps seem to be successful. though they relatively, I mean, they address a relatively small market, and they may not have repeat customers again. But then the Comfy Nugget was available in many rural and tier 3 towns, but it is not available in any in the city. So where the urban duopoly of Whisper and Stay Free holds. And the Fruitnik didn't have any visible presence as far as I saw in Karnataka, but there it might have some presence in other states. I mean, like Tamil Nadu, maybe in some rural areas. But I'm not. I couldn't see or taste this particular product. So coming to the risks, one risk is actually the valuation risk. So market factors a better growth rate going forward. In case this is not materializing, there can be a stagnation in the stock price, or it can even fall, or it may be range bound for a long time. Then company might again venture into unrelated ventures and drag down the ROCE. So increased intensity of competition can trigger increase in advertising expenses. So company might undertake an acquisition which can be detrimental again on the top line or bottom line. So in case the synergies are not met, so that is again a risk which any company might face. As per some sources, the family of the MD is in the US, and there may be some complacency that now that the stock price has seen an increase in last 5 years. So it's not based on any research or anything. It's just that there is not much info given about the base location of the MD. So one important thing which I found was the focus on the sanitary napkin called Comfy. So this is a very important product for the company in terms of potential, future potential. So the Comfy sanitary napkin has grown from about 19 crore revenue to 35 crore revenue now. And as per the annual report of the company, 2019 annual report, the Comfy brand now enjoys a volume share of about 2% pan India. So which is not as impressive as any other brand, but it is still something. I mean, it's growing slowly from 0 to 2%, and it's very difficult to break the duopoly of the Whisper and Stay Free. But yeah, they have priced the product at 20 rupees, and it's an affordable product, and it's their focus is on the rural areas, mainly in the eastern states of Orissa and West Bengal. So that is something which looks to be interesting. And one interesting thing is they have written in the annual report that our Comfy brand success has revived the fortunes of a rather dormant factory in south of Tamil Nadu, thereby creating employments in towns nearby. So this actually I got to know from a recent presentation of Marcellus, where they discuss Amrutanjan for a few minutes. So this factory looks to be the factory of a Polish company called Bella, which didn't taste much success in the Indian sanitary napkin space, and they had shut down that factory. So now the Amrutanjan is using them as a contract manufacturer. So I have kept the link of the Marcellus presentation at the end in the sources section. So moving on, the focus on roll-on and beverages also is something which has attracted the attention. So though the beverage division has not been contributing to the bottom line, the company has not like discarded it, or they don't plan to discontinue as far as we can see, because there has been some advertising spend on the Electro Plus uh, product. And also they have launched a new product called Alfonso Mango Drink. So this is a Ratnagiri Alfonso Mango Drink, a new product which the company launched. Then the roll-on formats have also touched around 35 crores in revenue as of 2020. So that is something uh, which has I mean, which looks interesting. So now, one question to ponder is: can Fruitnik be a game changer? So it is seen that the company has started advertising the electoral version of Fruitnik, as I told earlier. But the chances of Fruitnik succeeding seems like a long shot unless the company plans to leverage existing distribution. However, company has also launched a new variant, and there is a focus on improving this Electro Plus sales. So, in the wake of the healthcare crisis the country is facing, there could be some chances for Electro Plus to succeed. But the fruit drinks, it is not very clear how they will be able to contribute. But yeah, that is something which we can keep track of. Then strengths and challenges. This is from a relatively older annual report of the company. So this is the ability of the company to bring the quality and innovative products to the market in a relatively fast clip. Ability of the company to invest in the brands and fight competition in today, which was not easy a decade ago. Then the go-to-market strategy of the company, and first time being right culture of the organization. So which is something which I don't understand fully. And there are also some challenges mentioned, which is the critical challenges such as the raw material prices, which the company has been stating for quite a while now. So moving on, there are future plans of the company to increase distribution via online channels such as Amazon. They already have a store now, and they also want to increase distribution in the traditional network. The currently the export revenue is very less for this particular brand, though it's a brand with a very good brand recall. So there is only 5% to 6% contribution to the exports, so which the company might plan to increase. They ventured into some African markets in 2018-19. So similarly, they might venture into newer markets in the next few years. Then the focus on new products also has shown some good results, so that is one good thing. Then the pain management center, there is only one pain management center in Chennai that is operational. So that is more like a distraction now currently to the company. It just has around a couple of crores of revenues. So it is not sure, it is not known at this stage whether they have plans to revive that and also start more pain management centers. So moving on, there is one another important aspect of this particular company. The company possesses a 2.5-acre land in prime area of Chennai, so which was valued at about 200 to 250 crores. So I'm talking about like pre-COVID basically. So which might be a bit low again now, considering the crisis. But I think everyone knows about this, and the market is well aware of this possibility, and factors a certain probability of selling this particular land into the current valuation. So that is another. That was the last slide. So coming to the next slide, so I have listed some sources. So the last link is the YouTube link where the Marcellus fund managers, they talk about this particular company. From 41 to 46 minutes. So you can go through that. Yeah. Thank you.